Hey friends, it's Abby from OP. It's nice to be back. We've been super busy at Ophelia's place doing all of our online summer camps and our online drop-in, which unfortunately are ending soon, just like summer, but that's okay because we still have cool stuff like this coming out. This week's craft challenge item is a little different than normal. I had one of our amazing community partners reach out to us. Her name is Erica Goss and she works with Girls Voices Matter. She's actually the executive director. She is amazing. If you don't know about them and you haven't checked out what they do, please check out their website. They also have a lot of really cool stuff going on over the summer and kind of throughout the year, so keep an eye out on what they do because they are awesome. But she was like, Abby, there's this really cool craft that I thought maybe your girls at OP would like. You should try it out. And so I decided to do that for our craft challenge video. So the craft challenge item is craft paper. We are going to be making paper quilts. You know, paper quilt. Well, what the heck and schmeck is that? If you've seen quilts before, you know, those really cozy blankets with the really cool patterns. We basically wanted to try and make a cool design out of, in kind of like a quilting style, but instead you make it out of paper and it becomes something that you can put on your wall, like this. So it's a paper quilt. See? It's kind of cool. To get started making these cool kind of collaged paper quilts, you're gonna need a couple things, right? You need scissors. You can use glue. I'm gonna use tape. You're also going to need whatever your background is going to be. I just have this nice craft paper that I put on a little piece of cardboard. I printed out some examples of quilt patterns that I liked. I am not gonna copy any of these exactly. I'm just using them for inspiration, which is why I printed out a couple. And finally, you're gonna need craft paper. You can get any size, any thickness. It can be regular paper, whatever you want to work with, as long as you have colors and designs that you really like and that you want to use. I'm going to use these and probably some of this, whatever color that is, yellow. I know what yellow looks like. Some of this, some of that. And example of maybe something with a different texture. This is kind of some fuzzy craft material that I found, and I think it would be fun to add a little pop to my paper quilt. So once you get all your things ready to go, then you can get started. Come on, have fun! here. We finished it, or I finished it. If you made one too, then yay, congrats. I hope you did, because I really do think that these are awesome. It's a really cool craft idea. I love the little succulent cactus things. They make me happy. There were definitely some things that I want to go over just about this whole process to make sure that you avoid any of the snags and kind of harder things that I was learning as I was putting it together, because I've never done this before. I would say the first thing is I really enjoyed using tape to do this. You know, you saw me tape down all my little pieces so they don't fall off. I didn't have to wait for the glue to dry, so that was awesome, and I didn't get any of that weird like warping that sometimes if you use too much glue will happen. But because I used tape, not all of the edges are like down as much as they should be. They're not very secure. So I think if you wanted to make sure all your pieces were like super flat, you might want to go with glue. It might just take longer. Maybe I could find a frame to put this in, and that way the glass would cover it and it would stop anything from catching on those corners that are kind of up a little bit more. The second thing was, so when I made all these little triangles, I used a paper cutter and a ruler just to kind of measure and make sure they were all the same size. And that was great, but what I didn't do is I didn't measure my whole background. So when I started making this and I started taping them down, I realized that I wasn't putting like this part in particular. It wasn't in the middle. It was kind of shifted up a little bit. But I personally like improvising with my art, so it was okay because I ended up making the cactuses. You know, you work with what you got. So I guess my recommendation is if you're okay winging it and you just kind of like going with the flow, don't worry about it. But if you want to be super precise, I would use a ruler and measure out your background so you have a grid to work on, which I think is kind of what they do with quilting anyway. I'm not sure, I don't quilt. Those are the biggest challenges. That, and I definitely like knocked my board over a couple times and all my pieces went pew! And that was a bummer because I had to go pick them all up. Positives, the good things about this. Like I said, it was a bit like putting together a puzzle. It was really fun. I got to kind of play around all the pieces, and if I didn't like what I was doing, I just started over and kind of rearranged them again until I found something that I liked. And that was really fun. I just put on some music and I was able to just kind of go with the flow. It was a good time. It wasn't very messy, which I liked, and I only needed paper and tape and scissors. So it's like super accessible if you have those things. I'm gonna do 2 different ratings this time because for craft paper, especially this kind of thicker stuff that's a little wobbly, I love it. You can do so much with it just because it's so sturdy and there's so many beautiful colors and different kinds that you can get. So craft paper, honestly for me, it gets a 10 out of 10. You can do so many things with just some good paper. For the paper quilts, I would give them I would give Paper Quilts an 8 out of 10, and the only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is because I was talking about how I knocked over my board. I did that like 5 times, and then I had a fan on because it's really hot in here, and the fan kept on blowing away my pieces, and I probably could have done something to organize better and make sure those things weren't happening, but I didn't. So I got a little frustrated halfway through because all my pieces were all over the place. So that's the only reason I would give it an 8 out of 10. Oh well, what can you do? So that is our craft challenge video for this month. We are still going to be coming out with these on a regular basis, so keep your eyes out because we really like it. And I get to craft, which is always a good thing. So keep your eyes peeled. We have a lot of content coming out on all of our social media. You know, we have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and don't forget about our website, which is opheliasplace.net, of course. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming out for fall. Keep your eyes peeled. We are doing online services for our after school program, so definitely check out what those are going to look like because they're going to be awesome. Plus you get to hang out with me, so I'll be there. It's nice. It's cool. I like me. Anyway, that's what I have for you this month. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye. Stay safe.